Oui, attendez, excusez-moi. Attendez, est-ce qu'il y a mon aide-soignant qui est pas... Est-ce que vous pouvez m'aider? Ouais, voilà. Parce que c'est de... Non,
visiblement, ça ne marche pas. Père Patrick, vous n'avez pas perdu la main?
Est-ce que vous pouvez couper le...
On va regarder un sujet sur la...
I don't know how many years on this earth I got left. I'm gonna get real weird with it.
Hey, Dad!
Don't judge me, this is art!
It looks like he may commit suicide. Suicide is badass.
Put a chick in it, make her gay!
The fuck is that? Bigfoot. Oh man, look at him.
Come on, you motherfucker! Oh, shit! God damn it! Same shit, different day!
One last thing. If you have any drugs or any alcohol, give me some.
And we're live
Hi, everybody.
with technical issues out the motherfucking ass at the last goddamn second.
Ain't that the truth?
I barely had time to get this shit set up on and go on.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter just as long.
You're muted.
Okay. It doesn't matter just as long
What
as.
happened?
I don't know. It did it by itself. I don't know.
I'd be careful how you hold that mic touching it a certain way. It could mute it. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, now. Motherfucker. Already did one stream today, and I was kind of rushed with it too. I was like real busy, and then bam, oh fuck, it's time. And there we go. Getting ready for this one already, and then all the shit decides to quit working. Like 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I think we got a case of gremlins or something.
There's the fucking gremlin right there.
Hi, Ladybug.
Midnight ladybug. What the hell is that supposed to be? A
I
solid
don't
black
know.
ladybug.
I guess. I don't know.
The cat would still eat it.
True. Very, very true.
So, any potential viewers we have, speak up. Happy to hear from you. In this frozen, barren wasteland of Alabama.
It's worse than Florida because they got a lot of snow down there. So, what do we have on tonight's agenda?
Well, I would already be at it. I would already have it up, but everything decides to go to hell at the last second.
Yeah, I hate when that happens. I mean, it's like it picks the most inopportune time to quit working or be weird or something. It's always something. So,
yeah, just bear with me.
hi, Meject. Welcome aboard.
I just have to wonder how that name was devised.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. How in the hell did they come up with that name?
like mental midget, or I don't know.
Mental midget.
Well, I'm thinking M reject. What would the M be for?
I don't know. That is a very good question. I'll be glad when it warms up some.
So the first thing we're going to look at, Canadian professor Bizarre's take on Wolverine and masculinity raises eyebrows.
Oh no.
Bay Today reported about a Canadian professor in Sudbury who's read comics in his youth, but now seems to think even characters like Wolverine are nothing more than vessels for toxic masculinity. As if women aren't toxic. Ask any man out there that's honest, but ask any woman out there about women and toxicity.
Oh, the feminine toxicity is through the roof. I mean,
it's all this toxic masculinity nonsense. Come on. I get what they're saying. It's like a certain type of toxicity. It's like, I'm a man, what the fuck, right? Machoism,
yeah.
I guess bravado, but women get all that too. They even get the case of where they think they're big and tough.
Yeah.
So I have many issues with this, but one of my bigger issues is they seem to only apply that term to men.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if toxicity goes in both directions, it can't just be male or female. It's both.
He's a college professor. He should know that both men and women contain estrogen and testosterone. It's not like you're a man, you only get testosterone. You're a woman, you only get estrogen. Or am I mistaken?
Oh, no, they get both.
Yeah. It's just, a different balance of it.
Yeah.
So, for what reason do they believe that women cannot show these traits?
I would like to know, because they're clearly wrong.
Besides that, I mean, back in the day, they'd just go, you're being an asshole, knock it off, or somebody's going to knock it off for you.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a toxic masculinity. They would learn their lesson one way or the other. They would, they'd be forced to learn, whether it be, through life or somebody really putting them through it to make them learn. We didn't need these terms. It was just they're being a bitch. They're being an asshole. People, let me put it like this. There was a time when people were held accountable. Can you believe shit? Can you fucking believe it?
No.
Okay. Men aren't toxic. They taste good. Women, you got to keep chained up or they'll try to run out with the other half of your gold pile. They'll try to run out with the other half of your gold pile. Yeah, they do. That's from Levistro. I'm still a little perplexed on how to say his name, Levistro or Levistro. To me, it comes out Levistro, so I'll say that for now. Trust me, anything and everything can be toxic. I've seen toxic pets before. I've especially seen toxic women said by Strange Ghost too. Yeah, chihuahuas are fucking assholes.
Aren't they though? I mean, they're awful. They're awful. Those
Cats,
are some mean little shits.
Of course, cats are assholes and bitches or whatever term you want. I don't care what you call them, brats. It don't matter. But as long as the point comes across right.
Cats are psychotic.
Chihuahuas, fuck those little motherfuckers. They think they're big and bad, and they're like this big,
I don't know though. I kind of like a psychotic cat.
Not the kind that like piss and shit all over your stuff and, and scratch at you.
Oh no, not those.
Okay. Cambrian. Maybe it's a UK thing. I'm not familiar with all this. Anyway, Cambrian college professor Neil Shaminsky, I guess, a self-described littlest kid in class. Am I mistaken, or is littlest not really a word?
I don't think it is.
I mean, the smallest, I know that would be proper. I mean, I've never been a grammar freak, not much of an editor, but that don't sound right to me. Became obsessed in his youth with Wolverine. It wasn't until I reached university and took classes on feminism and gender studies that I realized that, in fact, might be feeding me something a little toxic.
Okay, so basically he went to school and he got his head pumped full of bullshit, and now he thinks Wolverine is bad.
Apparently so. So the writer of this article, not sure his name, just, okay, Avi Green. I don't know what to make of that name, but okay, Avi. He says, now this is the person who wrote the article, how exactly Wolverine was far from violent toward innocents and defenseless women, gave coaching to ladies like Storm and Shadowcat, and he cared for a Japanese woman named Mariko Yoshida. Yoshida, okay.
No, it's Yoshida.
Isn't that what I said?
No.
Yoshida. Now, after taking these ideas to social media, the professor has almost 1 million followers across 3 platforms, with most of the followers on TikTok, 400,000 followers on TikTok, 400, near 500,000 people are listening to this fucking idiot. Not this idiot. I mean, I probably don't have 10 listeners to this idiot. I mean, that idiot on the article.
I just don't. I don't understand. Okay, yeah, what the person that's writing the article is saying about Wolverine is true. He never was a bully, and I don't understand how this college professor came to that conclusion.
There can always be instances from, say, a comic, because comics run on forever. They have an issue a month, and then they're in other titles as well. There can always be bullying instances nitpicked, but as a whole, in general, no, Wolverine's not a bully. I mean, all he does is fight for people all the time and get torn to shreds as a result. Even if he heals, he still feels pain.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. He's not a bully.
Toxic masculinity is a relatively new phrase, while the concept has become controversial, with some believing it has connotations that reject all masculinity. The definition includes a masculinity that hurts others, including the man himself. Okay, so, you're self-destructive, at least emotionally. That's men and women. Fuck, that's more so women. Aren't women the most tortured creatures on earth?
Yeah. Yeah. That is very true.
And it says some believe that it rejects all masculinity, which means you should have no masculinity.
Well,
okay, from the Great Dragon, littlest is a word rarely used because it doesn't fit a certain context.
Oh, okay. Well, I did not know that.
And we have John Richards, problematic white guy.
Okay, by this person's definition of toxic masculinity, basically they want everybody to be gay.
I don't think he directly defines, well, okay, to be fair, there are links that link you to some of his lectures, but I'm not about to dig into that. Some people I know would, but not me. So directly in this article, it doesn't directly say if he's saying all masculinity or just what he believes to be toxic. which would have to be well defined in that case, which I'm sure I still would not agree with. Well, there was one definition here. It says harmful to yourself or others. But damn, that could be nitpicked so hard at. I mean, everyone is toxic to, harmful to themselves or others in some way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a good many people out there that will say just me streaming the kind of stuff I stream would be harmful to others, not near as much myself, but others, because they don't give a fuck about me. That's why. So, yeah, that can be nitpicked to death. It's, god damn, man's acting like a whiny woman. Not just, a woman, but a whiny woman, Oh, okay, a woman. The term highlights a specific form of masculinity and a specific set of social expectations that could be seen as unhealthy or dangerous. For example, the idea that one should man up rather than show weakness. Are they encouraging people to be cowards or to lay down and take it?
Well,
I mean, man up, the connotations on saying that alone, but let's get to the root of the meaning. It means stand up, be strong, fight, that kind of thing, right?
yeah, it means handle your business.
I mean, I wonder if their whole problem isn't truly in the wording man up.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? No, it means get an erection now.
Oh God. It's like it doesn't work like that.
Levistro, everything is gay. Wait, I'm not gay, but Elijah is. Oh, okay. And he says he's gay, but John is uber gay. Fuck that pixie.
Oh,
no,
my
I'm actually super straight. Okay, let's see, where was I? And okay, this is this is the writer of the article speaking, Avi. That sounds kind of gay. And what does that mean? That when violent crime is around, you should show weakness and cowardice in the face of it? What are they thinking? This is certainly not promising so far. And that he makes use of social media site that looks to have its circulation shut down in the US because of its ties with China's communist speaks volumes. So, he's speaking of TikTok. So he's saying because his main medium is TikTok. I think that's reaching. I mean, sure, it's possible. But I think it's reaching. So straight you're gay? No. It don't go that way. Reminds me of that comedian is like I'm gay and I'm manly. I fuck men.
Oh God.
You've probably seen that comedian. I believe he was also a musician.
Yeah, I think so.
So let's see. It's a shame Professor Shiminsky appears to be kind of woke advocate who's rejected the best from comics, the best comics from childhood for the sake of confusing distorted position on characters like Wolverine, whose support for ladies like Mariko and at least a few ex-women goes unmentioned here. It won't be shocking if he's also rejected Superman and even Lois Lane, which, yeah, they aim for characters like Wolverine because he portrays this badass image. But couldn't every one of the same things be applied to a character as innocent as Superman even?
Yeah, because Superman embodies the epitome of masculinity.
Yeah, it's like, well, Wolverine cuts people. I guess Superman could fart on them and kill them. I mean,
Good Lord, man.
Oh, yeah, you know, he's had all these uh earth-threatening battles. There had to have been casualties.
Yeah. Yeah, you do have a good point.
You blow somebody down, stop a robbery. Now they have headaches for life and they're partially paralyzed.
Yeah.
Of course, they don't write it that way, but you know, uh, that's kind of getting away from the point. But all the same, this person is just pure idiotic.
Yeah, they seem to be.
I don't believe there's a picture of him here, but it is Canadian. Of course, it's Canadian. Professors Neil Sheminsky.
Well, you know, it's Canadian. They're all weird.
I don't know if that's the right word for it even.
I don't want to say they're all that way, but 90% of them just seem
Yeah, in
off
general.
to me, you know. I'm just glad the mic's working now.
Remember when saying that gay was equal to lame? Yeah. Yeah, I remember I remember the word, one of the words that shall not be said, the F word. didn't mean gay. You know, they didn't even mean a bundle of sticks. It was just like a general word meaning I don't like you.
Yeah.
And that was a good part of, I mean, the 80s and a good part of the 90s until things got too politicized.
But that's the way it goes. I miss those days sometimes because things were it was harder, but it was less confusing all at the same time for a lot of people.
I will say the gays, and I know there's a lot of people now they almost choose the lifestyle somehow. I don't see how. I mean, maybe their levels of testosterone and such have shifted too much, but it's almost like now they choose that lifestyle or able to maybe. Back then there were gays and I guess they were born that way and they suffered more than, I mean, can't deny that.
Oh yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, you can speak on it.
well, the thing is I remember back then, and you better not dare say you were gay at all, period, because you could get killed, literally. You would get beat up and all kind of stuff. So that kind of thing was very hush hush. Nobody said
Yeah,
a word about it.
I do not advocate beating on anyone unless it's a child diddler, you know, something or you know, something along those lines. I do not advocate active violence against anyone. I don't think that's right. I mean, even if you got a straight up tranny out there, you know you ignore them. At most, you might be rude to them, but that's it, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be ill to anybody.
I mean, no matter how much you disagree with a person, there should be a baseline of decency. If they are at all decent, you know, if they're not like a child diddler or something.
Well, the problem where that comes in, they don't want to be decent to everybody that's not like they are.
Well, yeah, yeah, that's because everybody's so politicized. You know, media for one, and the two political parties have pushed everybody to such extremes that they're just at each other's throats all the time, and they make it a way of life. They have to live up to it. They, you know, they feel like they're a soldier or something.
Yeah. Well, I honestly think that the government does that on purpose, because if everybody's busy fighting with themselves and in fighting each other, they're not paying attention to what the government's doing. And that's the way the government wants it. You know, they don't want people paying
Yeah.
attention.
It was like, we just only want to get married to each other like the rest of you have. Okay, finally you can have it. Okay. We just want to be represented on TV. Okay, you can be on some shows. Okay. We just want it taught in the schools, and somehow that got through. Oh, we just want a drag queen dancing for your kids, and somehow that slipped through. And then it's like, we just want parades with nude people in the streets gyrating, and anyway.
Yeah. I don't see.
I'm not saying that they should have no rights or anything like that. I'm saying we should have all equal rights, and that means if a straight white man can't do it, they shouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, it should be equal for everybody.
All these, we're fighting for our rights. Wait. You're a human being. You're an American citizen. What right are you missing that you should be having?
That's a good question.
Oh, yeah. And let's not forget, we just want to put puberty blockers in your children and chemically castrate them.
Yeah.
Make them impotent.
I don't see how most of those laws went through. I really don't. I don't understand how that happened. Because I know it wasn't people voting for this stuff. Because if that was the case, then Trump would have lost the election.
Most
Right?
times people fight so much with politics, they forget how to make friends and be human, and they kill each other now. Yeah, I mean, we have a good many stories that don't get widely publicized about trannies doing severe acts of violence now.
Yeah. And I'm going, what the hell happened to these people?
Okay, on to the next. Elon Musk seemingly admits to cheating, which there's a bit to get into here, but it's kind of self-explanatory. But since the video is here, we'll go right into this first.
Elections, they come and go. Some elections are, important, some are not. But this one, this one really mattered. And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. My heart goes out to you. It is thanks to you that the future of civilization is assured.
Okay. Was that a salute of that type? Or was that him just being a buffoon?
I think that was him being an idiot.
If you ever seen the picture of him before he got real rich and famous,
Yeah.
he looked like an utter doofus. He truly did. I mean, if you haven't seen it, look it up.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So many people said Elon Musk is a genius. I've had people say, I think he's an alien because he knows so much. And I'm like, okay, he's good at business apparently, but I don't know if he's a genius. He might be. I can't say for sure, but not in the way that they're carrying on that he is. Not like that.
I think he's just I think he happened to fall into the position that he's in now. I mean, clearly he was wealthy to begin with, and he has some business sense. I think that's what it boils down to.
He's learned some rich way decorum, but he's under all that still kind of the young doofus he once was, possibly. That's the way I kind of take it.
Yeah.
On to this about him cheating. In November, the 53-year-old tech billionaire caught heat for saying he was among the top 20 players of the action role-playing game Diablo. I'm bad with Roman numerals. What is that? 6? What is that? 4?
4.
Okay, 4. On the episode of Joe Rogan Experience podcast. He also claimed to be a top player in Path of Exile 2, which has barely been out. It hasn't been out long at all. Due to how time-consuming these games are when played at the top level, fans allege that Musk, seemingly a very busy man, had to be cheating. You cannot be a top player in any type of game as such and be a billionaire running a space company and a car company and now the government money, and I think that's silly.
Yeah.
But he claimed that, and he stuck to the claim for a good while. So someone asked him, have you ever level boosted, had someone else play your accounts? So he answered with 100% emoji, and then went on to say, it's impossible to beat the players in Asia if you don't as they do. Don't do as they do, I take it. It's supposed to be there. But essentially, after for so long going, I'm top player in this game, and these games that is about impossible to come to top player in. Finally, he goes, yeah, other people did it. Yeah, I paid other people to do it so I could beat the Asians.
Oh, good Lord.
But he did not come forward with this until Asmongold confronted him in a video about it, in which I think they had a back and forth and some disagreements and some unfollowings and all this kind of, childlike behavior. And then a little while after that, he came forward about it. So he was going to stick to the story that along with being possibly the richest man in the world, running a space station or a space business, a car business, and now, in a sense, part of the government, that he was also the top player in 2 games that you have to grind endlessly on. So let's look at this same man that we just spoke of. Do you think he was just a doofus, or do you think he was putting down that German salute?
Okay. let me rethink that a little bit. Maybe a little bit of both. I don't know. I mean,
the thought had occurred to me that maybe he was doing it as a troll,
yeah.
In a trolling way.
Yeah, that's kind of what I had thought.
Which you are at an inauguration. You don't get up there and do even things that could be even misconstrued as that controversial. That can sway nations when you're at a controversial inauguration doing such a polarized thing as that German salute, which has been pointed out that's some kind of a Roman salute as well, but not many people have heard about that. And it's, when you're right there in the midst of all the political things and you're doing that, what it's going to be taken as.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a Roman salute either.
So the option is he is the Reich, or for it.
Yeah.
Or he was trolling, or he's a doofus. And there I go, sounding like a doofus trying to say doofus.
Well, in the video, the way he does it, it's kind of like.
Well, that's what I mean, doofus. He's basically going, my heart out to you, and then he,
Yeah. It's too close. I mean, if he wasn't meaning for it to be that, then I mean, it just looks too close to it to push it. You know what I mean? He should have thought better than that, and and maybe considered, well, maybe I shouldn't do this in case somebody takes it the wrong way or something.
Okay, go back for a second. Here, what he said, he's busy with Toasty, so she's running a stream right now, which I said I would eventually join one of her streams, and so I may, after this one, jump on that one for a little bit. No guarantee, but I may do that.
Well, if you do, tell Toasty I said hello.
And then she'll be like, who the hell's that?
Well, tell her.
Anyway, so yeah, without playing the video, which is near 19 minutes, that's all I have on that.
But yeah, I mean, he could have done something else to troll the left, you know what I mean, than that, because that looks just too much like that salute.
Well, people are taking him for, a hard Trumpster, or, hardened Republican, or whatever the case may be. I think he may lean that way, but I think he goes where the money is. And he has a fuck you attitude as long as I get mine. I think more of that will come out the more he's in the public eye.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he doesn't really lean one way or the other. The only thing he cares about is money.
After all, look at his visas for bringing in Hindus. I don't know if that's correct to say it that way, but that's the way I say it. He's bringing in Hindus for these tech jobs instead of recruiting American.
That is true. He is doing that. And
there's a lot of things that Trump is going along with that's kind of disturbing, that being one of them. I mean, I agree with a whole hell of a lot he's doing, but not everything.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if Joe Rogan still got Trump's ear, because I know there for a while he did.
Probably so, but probably not as much as Musk does.
Yeah, because Musk has a lot more money than Rogan, I'm sure. So, yeah, Trump listens to whoever's got the most money.
Here we have fired Marvel showrunner Bo DeMaio indicates he'll expose Kevin Feige before court date, accuses Marvel of disregarding black stories. Okay, well, I think that's a little misworded. Disregarding black stories. They have plenty, they have no shortage of black stories and gay stories and so on. But that's not exactly what Bo DeMaio is saying here. And he wrote X-Men 97 and mostly did a good job. I don't like that part with that what's his name?
Morph.
Yeah, Morph chasing gay lust after Wolverine. That was just disturbing as fuck.
Yeah. It was very disturbing.
X-Men 97 showrunner Bo DeMaio has leveled serious accusations against the studio's handling of black stories and talent. DeMaio claims that Marvel doesn't take black stories seriously and has hinted that he'll expose Marvel boss Kevin Feige. I'm not gonna say that. As his court date against the company gets closer. Now, at first, I looked at this and I was like, oh, bullshit. And I read into it and I'm like, he kind of has a point. I could kind of see where he's coming from. But acknowledging that, it gets into some funny gray area. You'll see. DeMaio responded to conversations about the upcoming Marvel project Wonder Man, which controversially features a race swap protagonist, a black version of the historically white character. they also make it they make it a parody of itself, basically. So it's not just race swap. They also make it a parody of itself. I really want this show to be good. This is Bo DeMayo. I really want the show to be good, but this makes sense as Marvel Studios does not take black people or our story seriously. How could they when you have top execs making race jokes about black writers in notes meetings or saying, well, you can pitch that because you're black? I don't think that's a black joke. I think they're being honest. It's like, I can't say that. I'm white. You can say that. You're black. How's that a joke?
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, cause
the irony is this came as a result of people demanding black stories and so on and so on. This came as a result of that because they're kind of like, if I said it, this is just another rich old white man saying it, and it's going to be stricken down. So I can't say it, but you could say it because you're black. How is that a joke?
yeah, it's not a joke. It's the truth.
This reflects DeMayo's deep-seated frustration with what he perceives as a pattern of racial insensitivity and systemic bias within Marvel Studios, an organization known for race pandering and virtue signaling. Okay, these let's say old white men who are saying, I can't say that, only you can say it. They may have a serious issue with the black stuff. We don't know. We can't tell because the system has been done in such a way that a white man can't speak of black stuff. So that alone makes it not a joke, but just how it is. So whether they have this deep resentment and don't take black stuff seriously, we can't know.
Well, I mean, it's true. We got no way of knowing what they're being presented with. I mean, it could be some really off the wall stuff that they're going, no, this isn't going to work.
Well, that's not what's being said.
I know.
The only thing that's actually been said is one of them said, I can't say that. You can say it because you're black, which that's just a fact of the matter of how this whole DEI push has made things. So to know if they're really racist or not taking it seriously, I don't think we can know.
Yeah, that's true.
For that matter, the stories involving white people aren't exactly well done or taken seriously when they're flipping the characters all kinds of ways, to gay and to black and Mexican. And I'm not saying anything wrong with black or Mexican. I'm saying flipping them, they're not taking them seriously. So he's complaining they're not taking our black story seriously, and they're taking the white one seriously.
You do have a very good point. I mean, yeah, that they're not taking any of it seriously. They're just making money off of it or trying to.
So, I don't know if other people are seeing it the same way I am. Yellow Flash here responded to him with, woke whites are the fakest of them all. Yeah. But that could be taken different ways. I mean, do they really believe the crap they're spewing? Whether they do or they don't, they're still the fakest, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't change the end. So yeah, I guess that statement holds true either way. There's truth to this. Worst racism I've ever experienced in my life has been well-meaning woke white people. They're also oddly the least receptive to constructive feedback on how they can do better. That's everyone. If you tell anyone without them actively asking you, and a lot of times even then, this is how you can do better, they're gonna be offended somehow. White people, black people, yellow people, it don't matter. You're gonna offend the fuck out of them doing that.
Well, I mean, yeah, because it's like, okay, you think you're doing the best you can do, only to have somebody go, well, also it's the tone too, because it's like, well, that's good, but you could do it this way and this way and this way and this way until it's not what you did
Yeah,
anymore.
imagine
You
me
know?
coming up to a black creator going, "No, that's not how you do white people." You know what they're gonna be like, "White boy, you better get out of my face. I know how these white folks are." Something along those lines, right? I'm not
Yeah,
trying to do black voice, but just a general idea there.
yeah,
9 out of 10 times, not always, of course, not always, but 9 out of 10 times, it's likely what you're gonna get. And I'm not putting down on blacks here. I'm saying any color is gonna do the same. You will have the outliers, but this really can't be. This race is gonna act like this.
yeah. That's a little much saying that. You can't do that. You can't lump a whole race of people. It don't work like that for any race.
Remember what I said about it getting in the gray area?
Yeah, I know. It's getting
No,
weird.
but listen, there are some races you can lump like that. And it's not everybody in the race. You can't just go, "Oh, this includes all of them." No, absolutely not. But let's say by stats, statistically speaking, there are races that are going to be way more offended.
True. That is true.
So that kind of conflicts with what we were just saying, doesn't it?
Yes, I'm very confused.
Exactly.
I'm
Gray
very
area.
confused.
Exactly. Gray area there. So I don't know. I mean, so he's stereotyping whites, whereas from our side of it, we see blacks stereotyping themselves all the fucking time. And sure, not all of them do it. Of course, they don't all do it. I've been friends with a good many black people that were perfectly fine. And, I've seen plenty. But you look on the news, you look in the media, all the same, all the same, all the same, doing the same, acting the same, reacting the same. In general. But now he's going, white folks be like this if you say something to them. Okay. If I had an angle to come at this with, it would be moneyed folks. Folks with money. People with money will act that way more than anyone else.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. People with money act that way more than anybody else. And I'm not just talking about regular money. I'm talking about the big money.
Okay, so Bo DeMeo, he's already suing Marvel Studios. Mentions here, DeMeo's attorney, Brian Friedman, filed a lawsuit against Marvel Studios in September seeking to invalidate the non-disparagement provision in DeMeo's separation agreement with the company. Friedman contends that the clause violates new California law designed to limit the scope of non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, particularly those that could prevent employees from disclosing information about unlawful acts in the workplace, such as harassment or discrimination. He was fired for harassment. Yeah, harassment. Supposedly, he was showing pictures of himself to other staff members. I believe that was accusations. And if you see the way he carries on social media, he's all the time doing these what they call thirst traps, trying to make himself look all sexy and shared everywhere.
Oh.
It could be easy to see. I'm not saying he did it. I'm not. But it could be easy to see. But it looks like what he's trying to achieve here is he got fired and he's under an NDA not to talk about harassment or discrimination he may have encountered at the workplace. And he's trying to have that overturned. And it would seem in the process, he's also going to mention how they don't take blacks seriously.
Oh, okay. Okay, so
He alleged that Marvel executives attempted to recast Storm for the show, initially rejecting legendary voice actress Alison Seeley Smith, who brought the character to life in animation back in the 90s. This was reportedly because she didn't sound African enough, according to the Mayo. That's racist, sure, but we've been kind of cornered with this whole DEI. Make them sound like they're from Wakanda, you know? I mean,
yeah.
the whole DEI movement has pushed a good many people directly, hard angle, into racism. And somehow they can't see this. So it's a little funny. He's going, stand up for the black voices and the black power. For DEI, against DEI. Gray area, you know?
Yeah, it's
It-
very confusing.
It's the Ouroboros. It's the DEI snake eating itself.
Yeah. I just
So, yeah, they were trying to, instead of getting the original voice actress for Storm, which was nothing wrong with her voice. Oh, hey, Sergeant Giratina, welcome. They tried to recast her to have someone more African sounding, and I don't know if it was that way in the comics, but if it was, they never went out of their way to say so. I don't believe it was that way. I mean, if anything, she may have had like a little accent. I don't know, but while it's racist, it's also DEI.
but okay, but the thing I'm thinking of is yeah, it's the things that you said, but it's also the character comes from Africa, so wouldn't you want somebody with that accent to speak for her?
Well, it leans into the whole thing that everything must be like Africa now, which they've gotten in the habit of doing, making everybody sound ultra African. But I don't think she was portrayed that way in the comic. I did read the X-Men comic and I don't recall it. But it continues. It was odd hearing a table of white Marvel execs tell me and other black crew members that we were wrong because she didn't sound African enough. Whatever that means. I guess it means she didn't have a big enough plate in her lip.
Ah.
Maybe she wasn't clicking right. Okay, I'm not trying to be racist here, but Africa's a big place with a lot of different ways, a lot of different dialects and languages. It is, I think, probably the biggest widespread differences on Earth, unless I'm mistaken. The Mayo said we went with their pick. Then they realized we were right and forced the team to break their backs re-recording half the session with the OG Storm. So they re-recorded half their episodes, or maybe a episode, I don't know, but they re-recorded some with the original voice. Well, they should have respected that, the show was meant to be like the original anyway. They should have, by default, went with the original voice. The Mayo's accusation and his willingness to legally challenge Marvel and potentially expose Feige, I'm still not sure how to say that, have added fuel to a larger conversation about representation, diversity, and accountability within Hollywood's largest franchise from studios that wag their finger at the rest of us. And indeed they do. They do. Given time, that's probably not the only thing they'll wag.
Ah.
We go waggle. Okay. Any thoughts on all that?
I'm very confused. I mean, here I went into the article having a pretty good understanding of it, and now
it crossed itself all kinds of ways, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm just very confused. It's just okay. None of this makes any sense to me, and I'm not a dumb person by far, but This is just mental gymnastics. Or
Kind
that
of
was.
is. But you got to understand, if anything goes extreme enough, it eats itself.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's what we're seeing here. So that's why our logic is like, whoa, wait a minute. We've ran into ourselves. What's going on? What's happening? Reality is coming apart.
Yeah.
Because they're eating themselves. And, it gets real confusing real quick.
Yeah. Very quick. I mean, here I thought, okay, this person's got grief with Marvel. Who don't got grief with Marvel? And then on down into the article, it turned itself around, and I'm going, wait a minute.
And then it turned itself around again.
Yeah, it's like a roller coaster.
They eat their own.
Well, they need to hurry up and finish because I'm tired of seeing that mess.
Yeah, like I mentioned, Bo DeMaio, he does these thirst trap pictures, but he's also ultra gay.
Okay.
Okay, the next issue. Gamers overwhelmingly vote for attractive lead characters in new CI Games poll, but is the AAA gaming industry listening? Fuck no.
Shit, no.
Okay, Merrick Tominsky, these fucking names, I'm telling you. Merrick Tominsky of CI Games has sparked yet another debate in the gaming world, this time aim at, they need better editors. Taking aim at what, it was me this time, I misread it. Taking aim at what many are calling the uglification of gaming characters in AAA titles with a new poll. Tominsky issued the question on X asking gamers, should lead video game characters be widely considered attractive, aspirational by the vast majority of players? So, 84.4% said yes, 2.5% said no, and 13.1% said I don't care. This was out of 11,134 votes. The mass majority, once again, said yes, they should be attractive.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the whole point of.
They don't have to be beauty queens or models or, what do they call them now? Giga Chads. That's young slang there. Too young for me. Basically, muscular men models. But attractive, yeah. They don't have to be all of that, just all right, on the good side.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you want the character to kind of be a representation of what you think the character in that setting should look like. Well,
And
if they're coming out looking at like the pod people,
And you could also make it popular again, or more so, to customize your character in more games. I mean, I would fully support that. Or, choose your different characters, as some games have been known to do. You have a choice of characters.
Well, I know in Guild Wars 2, I always played the Ashura characters.
No, the ugly as fuck little gremlin looking things.
I know, I can't help it. I like them.
The poll addresses a growing frustration among gamers that the apparent trend in AAA gaming to make characters, particularly female ones, less conventionally attractive. Critics argue that many studios are deliberately downplaying traditionally feminine features or giving characters overtly masculine traits such as pronounced jawlines and angular features. And they have not so much men, because there's not many men left in video games, in the games themselves. If you haven't noticed, it's damn near a woman every fucking time now, because for some reason even anti-woke men want to play as women now, and I find that utterly fucking disturbing. They don't see an issue with it, which means it's gotten to them some. And you out there, probably don't like me saying it. That's my fucking opinion. I know back in the day, no boy wanted to play as a girl. No man wanted to play as a woman, vice versa, whatever, you know. Now,
Well,
everybody's like, I don't want to stare at a man's ass. Wait, you have a problem staring at men's asses?
like, do they go out in public and have a problem staring at people's
Yeah,
butt?
I go out in public and I never catch myself staring at a man's ass, even if they're in line in front of me. I'm like, it doesn't fucking happen if you're straight.
But here's
You
the
know,
thing.
when I'm playing a video game, I'm not staring at their asses. For that matter, I'm not constantly seeing a character thinking sexual thoughts, male or female. Maybe you need some real action to get some of that out of you. Maybe that's the problem here.
Well, I personally, I cannot play male characters because to me they
Because you have to stare at
move.
their asses, right?
Oh, good Lord. To me, they move kind of clunky.
All right, you
I
got your
don't know. It's
character.
just weird for
You
me.
got your character. You got a head, you got the shoulders, you got the chest, you got the waistline, you got the ass, you got the legs, you got the feet. This much, and you're fixated on it? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh my
God
goodness.
damn.
Well,
I'm not gonna call them this, but it almost feels like there's a world full of fucking closeted homos. If you're that way, come out and be straight about it. You know, I mean, okay, you feel how you feel. You can't help it. I can't help it. It is what it is. But just be honest about it.
they'd be happier for it.
Let's see. Okay, like I was saying, they have been giving the women more pronounced jaw lines, big square jaws, you know, bulking up their muscles. Which is weird. They're going on toxic masculinity, but they're making the women more men-like. So where do you go with that? What can you say about that?
They're turning them all into transformers.
They want the women to be men.
Yeah.
And they want the men to be women, I guess. I mean, or no, I would say it comes closer to they don't want the men to exist at all.
But to me, it's like they're trying to put transformers in video games and stuff.
Their logic, and I actually doubt it's logic. I think they're working on emotion. But let's just, for the sake of argument, let's say their logic is so twisted, it hurts my brain and my heart.
Well, if the previous article is any indication of their logic, no wonder, you can't keep up with it at all. It'll give you a headache.
How are these fuckers do in public? They're standing in line at a bank going, must not get a boner, must not get a boner.
Oh, God.
So then they're like, I want to stare at a woman's ass when I play a game. You're playing a game. You're not about to screw anything. I hope not. I hope not.
Well, these days you can't ever tell.
Sit the fucking controller down. Go out. Find you something to fuck and fuck it. And then come back and play the game and be like, it's okay. Or is it a representation of yourself and you really want to screw yourself?
I would rephrase what you just said.
What is that?
Because you said they should go out and find something to fuck and then come back and they'd feel better.
Well, yeah.
No. Not just anything.
Okay. No animals, no children, nothing dead. I shouldn't have to say these things.
Yeah, I know that, but these days,
Yeah, like I was saying, they've been making the women more masculine, but not the men. But here's the thing. Sure, they've been feminizing men, but there's so few men in video games these days, at least compared to what it used to be, especially as main characters. But this poll has spoke loudly, even though it's not a gigantic poll. It's big enough to get, to test the temperature of gamers. And they have overwhelmingly voted they should be attractive. And maybe it wasn't specific enough. But this implies that, okay, this is only pertaining to the ugliness of the females. So yeah, they should not uglify them, and they should make them somewhat attractive. So yeah, I fully agree with that. I'm not even going to get into the other territory of female characters taking over games, because this is not about that, even though I've been ranting about it. And about players' reactions to playing as a man, which, oh fuck, that's just, I can't get back into that. That's just too much. So if you see this picture here,
Yeah.
see if it allow me to zoom into it. These are some examples. On the left was the model they used. On the right is how they appeared in the game. When I say model, I don't mean they just looked at them. I mean, they put the dots on their face and scanned it, and, to get a carbon copy of them. Ooh.
Oh my God. They just ruined those characters.
Damn.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The one Horizon.
Oh my God, what
Forbidden
the hell?
West. Yeah. She looks like she could drive a damn Mack truck and smoke about a carton of cigarettes a day. Good
Yeah.
Lord.
Okay, here's the thing. There was a first game of her where she wasn't Miss Chubby. In the second game, they made her all chubby.
She needs to step away from
my
the
God.
table a little bit.
And now look at this one. This bottom one here.
Yeah.
Now these women on the left are quite attractive, and these ones on the right, yeah, they're most definitely not just average, but on the ugly side. Notable examples cited include Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Star Wars Outlaw, Spider-Man 2, and Horizon Forbidden West, among others. This isn't the first time Tominski has engaged gamers with a poll on hot button issues. Just recently, he asked players for their input on gender selection in medieval fantasy RPGs. That poll received over 49,000 votes, with 88% of respondents favoring the traditional male or female character creation option over the controversial body type AB system. Following the results, Tominski announced that CI Games would not only revert to male-female options in the future games, but also update 2023's Lord of the Fallen to remove the body type AB feature entirely.
Oh, that's real good. At
They're
least
trying
they're
to eliminate,
listening.
by chipping away at it little by little, eliminate gender. You know what that results in? Eliminating family.
Yeah.
You know what that results in? Less people in the future. Can you see it any other way? I mean, do you have another take on it?
No, I think that's a fair assessment. But it seems that they are listening to people when they did those polls, and they're taking those things out.
That's one company. This is right off. I mean, there may be others, but right off, this is the only company I know that's actively doing as such.
Yeah.
CI Games seems to be following a similar path by engaging directly with their audience, pledging to implement changes based on feedback and prioritizing player satisfaction. Tominski approach not only boost goodwill among players, but also position CI Games for future success. They're right. Yeah. The players are going to be like, fuck yeah, this is good. This is a good company. It's going to be a good game. And they're going to sell more. Duh. But the problem is these other companies are infested by right out of college feminists, whether they be male or female, but in fact, they're mostly female. They're infested by them, and they're in the echo chamber. They're surrounded by hundreds, if not thousands, of people just like them, echoing their sentiments. They feel what they release is going to be fully embraced because they think there's only a handful of chuds out there that speak against it, but most people are just like they are.
Well, they are sorely mistaken. I wish other industries would follow suit that this one company's doing, because it can only stand to make them more money, because people are tired of all that stuff. They're beyond tired of it. And something's got to change.
We're already to the hour and 11-minute point.
Oh, so we are.
But we've not covered that much stuff, actually. Oh, I didn't even notice till now. But we have Furious Dan, Retro Overkill. Came by to give a like to my homie Noise Pollution. Shout out to you, my friend, and you too, Furious Dan. We are on Reality Base together. He's a great person. Passionate about video games, very passionate. He's like, I believe he's like 40, but has the energy and enthusiasm of a teenager, and that's always great to see. So make sure to check his channel out. He I believe he's on YouTube and Rumble. I don't have a mod or any such, or I'd have him put the stuff, the links. Maybe I'll pick up some if I get more viewers.
But I think, I think the more time goes on, I think maybe, hopefully, that other industries will start to see that people are just fatigued with this DEI bullshit. They're tired of hearing it. They're tired of seeing it everywhere. And hopefully things will start to change. I will say though, the ones that I feel sorry for is the people that has been duped by this stuff, and they went and transitioned, and now they're stuck like that. They can't change.
I have no doubt there have been straight people who got sucked up in all this and went with the flow of it, and probably even transitioned to whatever point, and then they kind of want to off themselves, and they're probably miserable. I'm not saying they're all that way. There's some people that wholeheartedly feel that way and follow this and are fully into it, and okay, well, we disagree, but we can not like each other and not try to eliminate each other. Be like, no straight whites or Christians in the industry, or men in the industry, or down with these kind of people, and there's no need for all that. A lot of the pushback is because we get that kind of pushback. That's the push we get, so we push the fuck back.
Well, you can only get mistreated for so long until you start to fight back, and that's what's happening.
Well, there's a trend of they don't accept us kind of people, and then once they do, then and then they're accepted and everybody has the same rights. It's like, no, now we want more rights and we hate your fucking guts. That seems to carry on forever.
Yeah. But I honestly think that
You know what I want to see? The day that certain mental disorders are treated seriously. The day that Southerns aren't mocked. And the day that poor people aren't looked down on and spit on and, metaphorically speaking and so on.
yeah.
Who's speaking for them? No one, because they live in shame.
Yeah,
They
that's
live in
true.
fear and shame. And there are no feminist groups or support groups or internet groups. And I dare add to that list men in general, not just white men, not just straight men, not just gay men, but men in general. They get a real bad deal. They get the worst deal. It's like, oh, but a man can defend themselves. A man's not bulletproof. A man's not knife proof. That's why we send men to war. What? Because bullets bounce off them? Because they don't deserve peace of mind or family? Fuck that bullshit. What the holy hell is wrong with all your fucking heads?
Well, men are used for workhorses. They're used for the gladiators. They're used for all manner of things. And 99.9% of the time, they can't utter a single grievance about anything. They have to keep that
No.
shit all bottled up.
And then they get women to be like, it's okay. You can tell me, you can cry. It's strong to cry. And the moment they show any fucking feeling, they're never going to be seen the same again.
Yeah, there are a lot of women like that. And that's the truth.
Just like a lot of people see this and call me weak, that I'm a little bitch and I'm just whining and crying. I think you're a fucking coward for not speaking up yourself. I think you're a little bitch for not speaking up.
Well,
and tough shit, we can just disagree on it.
Well, the thing is men are not robots. Men have feelings. They're human beings. So, yeah, there needs to be more support and stuff like that. I mean, why the hell not?
Let me add something I'm going to bring up here to read, but let me add another number to that of my small list there. Native Americans aren't taken seriously. People are like, yeah, we killed them and took their land, but that was a long time ago. So what? Get the fuck over it. You got casinos now. It's not true. Some have casinos. Most aren't shared with their tribe or their families. They don't legally have to, and they're rich. They're not going to. Some do, most don't. And most Native Americans have no access to any money whatsoever unless they get registered, put on a reservation, and put on a government check, which is like half of minimum wage.
Yeah. And it's bad for them. I mean, there's not enough of them left to make noise about anything much.
Had this one motherfucker. The Native Americans couldn't even make a wheel. How the fuck do you think they made flour?
Yeah. They built whole pyramids and stuff.
Yeah, for that matter, they did. They made whole civilizations, just like the Aztecs and such, in America too. Not in every tribe, not all of them, but there were some that did. There's rumors of they were told by a being or something that they must leave it or it would end up in their doom, or it could have simply been an invading territory took them out. It could have been many things, but they definitely had civilizations that came close to equaling the Aztecs and such, which they're the same bloodline. The Aztecs, they're Indians too.
Yeah.
Okay, but on that note, Biden commutes life sentence of Leonard Peltier, Native American activist imprisoned for 50 years. Now, I don't know if he did it or not. I'm not going to claim to know, but I thought it was interesting that after this man had become old and decrepit and close to death, that Biden would be like, okay, you can go home, but you're still guilty. I found that interesting. I think Biden was trying to, score points for the Democrats essentially, but I don't think the Democrats really care about this.
No, they don't.
Joe Biden, in one of his final acts as president Monday, commuted the life sentence of Native American rights activist Leonard Peltier, who was convicted of killing 2 FBI agents on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation and of escaping federal prison. I don't think I'm that familiar. I'm familiar with the story, but not that familiar. I don't know how he could have escaped a federal prison. Peltier, who is 80 years old, has been in prison for almost 5 decades. He has been in declining health in recent years from diabetes, hypertension, partial blindness from a stroke, and bouts of COVID. In a statement, the White House said the communication will enable Peltier to spend his remaining days in home confinement, but will not pardon him for his underlying crimes. So Leonard's daughter said, "I'm just thankful that he had the balls and guts to do it." I find that funny.
But the man's nearly dead. They've been trying to get him out of prison for decades.
It's finally over. I'm going home, Peltier said. I want to show the world I'm a good person with a good heart. And he likely is. I don't know him. I can't say, but it's likely true, especially once you're in that shape and in that age, you know.
I mean, they've been trying to.
Yeah, this is 10 minutes. Might skip around a little bit, but it'll give us a general idea. This was recorded in 1987.
This Tuesday in Costa Mesa, California, Willie Nelson, Joni Mitchell, Robin Williams, Chris Christopherson, and others will stage a benefit concert for a man convicted of murder, for a man they believe never got a fair chance at justice. The case of Leonard Peltier has received international attention, but little publicity here in the U.S. It's a story of conflict and contradiction, and on both sides, passion. Sunday services at the Cathedral of St. John the holds his
Skip hits. I'm going to skip ahead a little here.
Of Leonard Peltier as firmly today as he did 10 years ago when he
of standing up for my people's rights. I'm guilty of trying to stop the oppression that I've experienced and I've seen my people experience. Those are the things I'm guilty of.
He didn't say murder.
I never killed nobody. I never killed anybody in my life.
But back in 1977, Peltier was convicted of killing 2 FBI agents. Jack Kohler and Ron Williams had just been assigned to deal with the growing unrest on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. The area had been a hotbed of violence since the 1972 siege of Wounded Knee.
Our crime is being Indian.
A group of traditionalist Indians, calling themselves the American Indian Movement, took up arms to protest the policies of a government-supported and largely unpopular tribal council. In the ensuing years, government agencies and Indians clashed. It was described as a time of virtual civil war. Why were you armed?
We're all armed. Everybody's armed around there.
Why?
Just state of conditions that we were living under.
Peltier says it was in June of 1975, against this backdrop, that the incident occurred involving Kohler and Williams.
The agents came down in this direction following in a vehicle.
Attorney Bruce Ellison has been defending Leonard Peltier passionately for the past 12 years.
Agents drove their cars up to this position and stopped. Got out of their vehicles. Agent Kohler got his sniper rifle, and they began firing up towards the residences.
That scenario, says prosecutor Lynn Crooks, is just simply not true.
Mr. Peltier was the one that they were following into this area. Mr. Peltier stopped his vehicle, got out of the vehicle, started firing at these 2 agents, and then it was basically a massacre.
The two factions agree on only one issue. After a 6-hour shootout, one Indian and two FBI agents were dead. The agents had been shot from a distance, finished off at close range.
Basically, what they found is two guys lying face down beside Jack Kohler's Bureau Auto. The automobile it looks like a sieve. Both of them have their faces shot off. I mean, they're not recognizable people anymore.
Approximately 200 government agents arrived on the scene that day, many within minutes. They surrounded the estimated 20 Indians.
You can still see some 12 years later, some of the bullet holes from that day.
Once they found that those agents were dead, yeah, the agents and FBI and law enforcement basically hosed the area down with lead. There's no question about that.
I participated in the shooting when I was bringing the women and children out of the house. When the bullets were flying around us, I did, yes.
Do you know whether you killed anybody?
I did not kill nobody. I know I didn't.
How do you know you didn't kill anyone?
Because the area I was shooting at, there was nobody wounded or killed.
He is responsible. He was there. He was firing. It was his objective. He's the oldest guy. By his own claim, he's the leader.
All the Indians escaped, and Peltier fled to Canada. Along with 3 other Indians, he was indicted for the murders of the agents. 2 of the Indians were later acquitted in a trial. Charges were dropped against a third. That left the FBI without a murderer. And according to Peltier, it also left him to take the rap.
The FBI obviously was out to convict somebody for shooting their 2 agents. That's their job. And I would say that it's fair to assume that they had a little more enthusiasm for the investigation than they would if it had been John Doe Public.
According to Crooks, there is more than sufficient evidence to keep Peltier locked up. He was at the scene of the crime, and a bullet casing found in the agent's car matched the type of gun Peltier was firing. But many say Peltier was denied a fair trial. Among them is...
You're muted.
I just played that so we'd get a grasp on the situation we're speaking about. Christopher Wray, who became FBI director in 2017 before he retired Monday as President Donald Trump took office for his second term. He told him, "Mr. President, I urge you in the strongest terms possible, do not pardon Leonard Peltier or cut his sentence short." So, by that person that was on the video saying he was definitely guilty, he even admitted that they were more at it because it wasn't a white man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember reading about this in school, and the way that the native people's encampment was, unless they had long-range rifles, they couldn't have shot that damn far.
Well, first of all, I'm not certain about this, but I would think the FBI has no jurisdiction on native land.
As far as I know, they don't.
And, you know, the natives argued they began shooting them first. Leonard Peltier claims he was walking out children and women when they started firing. And they were all armed. The tensions were already high between them, so I would imagine that's why they stayed armed. But here it says, dozens of people had participated in the gunfight. At trial, 2 co-defendants were acquitted after they claimed self-defense. When Peltier was tried separately in 1977, no witnesses who could identify him as the shooter were presented. No one could name him as the shooter, and there were dozens of shooters there. And unknown to his defense lawyers at the time, the federal government had withheld a ballistics report indicating the fatal bullets didn't come from his weapon. So they lied about it. It didn't even come from his gun.
They just wanted somebody to make an example out of, and they used him.
And they want to pretend like they care about it now.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I know he's been trying to get out of prison for decades, and now that he's about dead now, they're gonna finally let him out under house arrest. I thought when I first read about this in school, I thought he got a bum deal even then, and I was a kid.
I don't know if he actually shot anyone down or not, but he clearly got a bad deal with bad treatment, a lot of lies and all of that. So that accounts for something, even if he was guilty, which I don't know if he is or not. They had a shootout. They let the other ones go, basically. And then it came down on him.
Yeah. But him spending so long in prison like that, he's gonna get out to a world that he don't know. I mean, it's
Yeah, I
gonna
mean,
seem alien to him.
when you're released to the world as it is today, I mean, I guess if you're 80 in bad shape, you're just gonna sit back and take it easy and watch a lot of TV or something like that, probably. But yeah, every time you encounter this new world, you're gonna have the feeling like put me back. I just want to be back home, and at that point, prison becomes home. I mean, I've had a lot of relatives that spent decades in there, and they sometimes they kind of sure they wanted out, but then when they get out, they kind of felt they were drawn back up until to a certain point. Now these days they say it's not worth going back to prison anymore, which is that's a hell of an ironic thing to say,
Yeah. But I feel bad for him and his family because they'd been fighting this for years, and now, now all of a sudden, it's bullshit. He should have got a fair trial to begin with.
He's another victim of circumstance, but those circumstances are the very issue. And no, the natives can't really speak up for themselves because it results in things like that happening.
Yeah.
And the American people sure aren't speaking up from them. They mock them relentlessly for the most part.
That's
some
also
of them
true.
some of them even like, I'm 1/4 blah 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 blah, and then talk about them like a joke.
Yeah.
Ultimately, just like everybody, I want us all to be of one, no matter what color you are and all that. I just want us all to be as one. Even Native Americans shouldn't have rights above any other American, but they have had it bad, and they continue having it bad. If you think all of them are rich from casinos, you haven't been to many reservations. And I'm speaking as an actual member of a tribe.
Yeah. I mean, hell, there's a lot of places on the res that don't even have running water or power.
And I'm not all native, clearly, but I am some native, and I didn't go there and they didn't chastise me. They didn't mock me. They took me more serious than I've ever been taken anywhere. I got more
Yeah.
respect there than I ever gotten anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, on to the next thing here. Let's scroll up to the top. Rumor: the Red Hulk is only featured for 5 minutes of Captain America: Brave New World. So they've been hyping him up like everything, in every commercial. But rumor, this is a rumor. Let's note that. But he's only going to be featured for 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
It's a rumor, but it's these rumors generally are right. Harrison Ford's Red Hulk, a central figure in the marketing for Captain America Brave New World, will have less than 5 minutes of screen time in the big budget Marvel film. If true, this would represent a significant bait and switch by Marvel Studios. Fuck yeah. Which has prominently featured the Red Hulk in nearly every trailer, TV spot, and promotional poster. This is a rumor, again, but these rumors tend to be correct. Well, you know, they put a lot of, to my understanding, unless I'm wrong, they put a lot of Hulk, the Incredible Hulk characters in this movie. And I don't know why they just didn't make another Hulk movie. I think they're trying to prop up Black in America, you know, Falcon.
Oh yeah.
They're
Yeah.
trying to find a way to prop him up with other unused IPs, intellectual properties, and it's just all a load of shit. It's destined to fail. With that being said, things work funny sometimes. You know, truth is stranger than fiction, but in my point of view, it's destined to fail for so many reasons, which I'll get into some of them. We've only seen footage of Red Hulk from one scene. That is true. Starting with Ford's transformation on the presidential podium and ending with a massive brawl with Sam Wilson, the Falcon, or Black in America. That means it's altogether possible that rather than being a consistent menace throughout the film, the Red Hulk will be some cheap thrill tossed in the end at the end of the movie. May not be the end, you know, maybe like the beginning, but all the same, it's a cheap thrill tossed in. Everybody's like, oh, yawn and blah, blah, blah. We don't want to see, you know, Black Falcon or whatever, you know, fake captain. And they're like, oh, this makes it interesting. Red Hulk, you know, this seems, it could be something. We'll see. And so it's bait and switch. Let's say it's not 5 minutes. Let's say it's 10. Does that really change things?
No. No, it doesn't.
The film reportedly carried a staggering production budget between $350 million and $375 million, not including marketing costs. That's a lot of fucking money. Factoring in promotional expenses, the movie will likely need to gross nearly $1 billion worldwide to break even. So yeah, even if it's a moderate success, it's still a failure.
That's a lot of money they're going to have to make.
Pre-sale numbers have been described as underwhelming, tracking only 1.4 times better than The Marvels, which was their worst movie ever, financially and literally. Marvel also faces dwindling enthusiasm from its core audience, Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson, who took over Captain America's mantle in Disney Plus's The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, has struggled to capture the cultural resonance of Chris Evans, Steve Rogers. I don't think it's got much to do with Chris Evans. I think it's got to do with the race swap, and Captain America already had some deep, rich lore, which Falcon does not. And someone had said, I never watched that Disney Plus show, but someone had said that no one gave him the shield and the title. He claimed it. And for that matter, he beat up a white man and stole the shield, is what somebody said. So that's just going on somebody else's word. But and they said, how's that make him look?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a big stereotype.
Oh yeah, and now they have him fighting a new president who turns into a big red rage monster. So we have a black man representing Captain America, who has no history or lore really to speak of, fighting a big red presidential rage monster.
Well, gee, I wonder who that symbolizes.
Yeah, that's all I have on that. But you can give your thoughts on it.
I think this is bullshit. If this rumor's true, what in the world am I gonna sit and watch this movie for under 5 minutes of Red Hulk? Why? Why would I waste my money? It doesn't make any sense. They're just trying to fill the seats of the theater at this point to try to cover some of that money they know they're gonna lose.
Yeah, but how'd they get so in over their head to begin with? Well, you think it was an echo chamber, or do you think it was like BlackRock or somebody just giving them millions and millions and millions and millions and them, in their echo chamber and their egos getting all buffed? I mean, what do you think led to this?
I think it's exactly what you just said. I think they pitched the story and they pitched all the stuff that they wanted to do to it, and people kept telling them, yeah, 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 do that, and then here's money, 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 and then they just went in and got over their head, and now they're trying to get back some of that money. That's what I think. And they're never gonna get that much money back. Never. Because
Although, in the comics, I have no doubt that the Red Hulk will be drastically different than he is in the comics. I mean, first of all, it wasn't a president turning into the Red Hulk. It was Major General Ross. I don't remember the full name, but even though I'm a big Hulk fan, I don't was never a fan of that particular storyline in it, the whole Ross. Okay, Ross was Betty's father in the comic, and I believe he is in the movies as well. But I don't recall him ever being president.
I don't think he was. I don't think so.
I mean, I quit reading in the late 90s maybe, but to my knowledge, he was never president. But they're making him president, and they got Harrison Ford, who I don't think fits it whatsoever. Not to mention Harrison Ford is really decrepit at this point. I'm not putting down on old people. I'm just telling it how it is.
Well, I don't know. I kind of think Harrison Ford could have played the part of the president pretty well, but the Hulk, no, that
No, I
right,
mean,
that don't.
General Ross. General Ross is usually a hard, tight ass, stern, big white mustache. He's kind of thick built.
Yeah,
He's a general.
yeah, I know.
Can you see that in Harrison Ford?
Maybe,
Not me. I just don't see it.
but yeah, the this is just beyond
I
ridiculous.
mean, to my understanding, the Hulk will make an appearance in the movie unless I've been misinformed. And the leader. Now, I always wanted them to make another Hulk movie, from the second one they brought out. What was his name? Was it James Norton or something along those lines? But that Hulk, I believe the CGI was better. I like the way they were building up the leader. I always hoped they would continue on with that, but instead we get it crammed into a Blackton American movie,
Oh,
shoehorned into it.
yeah. I would like for them to make
We
a
have, and welcome to the stream. We're in of Bly. It's going to lose a lot of money. Yeah, they always lost the money. Problem is getting back the money. And yeah, in the big picture, yeah, lose, 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 lose.
but I would like for them to do an Immortal Hulk movie.
Oh yeah, if you've read the comic line. Now, I despise Marvel these days. I used to love Marvel, but one that came out in the recent years that was good was the Hulk line, the Hulk arc, Immortal Hulk. They tried to tweak it like kind of like a horror story. And you just had to read it, but that was a good arc. That was very well done. The Immortal Hulk. That was a good arc.
Well,
World War Hulk was all right. It was fairly good, but the Immortal Hulk, that was great.
well, that's why I liked the Immortal Hulk, is because it veered more on the horror side of it.
Well, if you
Because
consider how Marvel started out, kind of like Pulp Fiction, only put in comic form. It was like the sci-fi of the 60s. Like they had a comic called Tales to Astonish. I believe that's what it was called. They were trying to put out this whole 60s sci-fi vibe, like Fantastic Four. They went up to space in a rocket ship and came down, and all this weird stuff was happening to them, and a boy in school gets bit by a radioactive spider, and it was Tales to Astonish. It was, sci-fi stories. I think they need to get back to the roots. I also think a lot of these companies need to quit this whole Goku Superman syndrome where he blinks and blows away universes and breaks through realities.
yeah, that's a little much.
If we bring it back to fantastic, but kind of real, but fantastical for being real, I believe we'll bring people back into it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Hulk was, to my understanding, the Hulk was fashioned after Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what I think of.
Mostly, and maybe Frankenstein too, but yeah, I believe that's what was said. Originally, he was gray, but as printing issues, they had to make him green.
I don't know. I think the green works better instead of the gray.
I always liked the gray better. I mean, I always thought the green was a little silly.
I don't know. I like the green. I can't help it. I like
In
the
the
green.
1970s TV show, the writers wanted to make him red then, but they kept arguing, no, he's green in the comics. If we make him red, it's not gonna do. And they were right. But that's an interesting fact.
I did not know that they wanted to make the Hulk red
Yeah,
in the
it's
show.
also funny. They said Bruce Banner sounded too gay, so they called him what they call him in the TV show?
David.
Yeah, David Banner. Well, in the comic, his name was Robert Bruce Banner. They could have went with Robert. Does that sound
Yeah.
gay too?
No.
Wait, does it?
No.
I don't think so. Another interesting tidbit there. People are fucking weird, I mean, I'm weird. Of course, I'm weird. I guess everyone, even normal people are weird to me. But the more you just see people out there, it's like, oh fuck, I didn't realize it could go that way. I didn't realize they could be that way, and then they are. And then you're going, but why? And even if you understand logically, you're still going, but why?
Yeah. I remember watching the Hulk on TV when I was a kid, and every kid I knew watched that show. Not for the story, not for anything else, but to see the Hulk be the Hulk. That's the only reason we
Yeah.
watched it.
And then in the movies, they had to go and make him a little bitch boy. First of all, they're like, let's have Thanos beat the shit out of him and him be defenseless to it. And then let's make him where he can't Hulk out. And then let's make the Hulk Banner where he's strong, but he don't really do anything.
Yeah.
And then to top it off, they went, now let's fry his arm and say it can't be healed. Where he puts on the gauntlet and tries to do the snap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's sloppy right and start to finish.
I don't think they have any good writers anymore, or if they do, they won't let them work.
Well, once online, I forget where I said it, but I said today's generation is like Temu. You get the Temu quality in today's generation. And of course, a lot of people dislike that, obviously, because it's like I'm talking shit about them, which I don't take it I'm talking shit about them. I take it I'm just talking, honestly. You know, talking the truth. You look at movie classics. What the fuck movie classics have there been since this latest generation?
I can't think of any.
The last something that resembles classic that has been is the 3 Lord of the Ring movies and the Hobbit movies. It ended there. I can't. There could be some, but none come to mind. Everything after that feels like the Temu generation, the Temu quality. And no, I don't think everybody of that generation is that way. But those in Hollywood and those in entertainment sure seem to be.
Well,
okay, here's another example. Remember when bands would release album after album after album, having virtually every song on that entire album each time be a hit?
Yeah.
When was the last time that happened?
I don't know. I don't.
So you see what I mean?
Yeah. One movie that I had hoped would become a classic is the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
I thought the first one was great, actually.
Yeah,
I thought the first one was great. The second one just crushed my hopes with it. Now,
Yeah,
I
the
know,
second one.
again, a lot of people will disagree with that. I've been saying things lately. I've been digging a hole for myself. I've been saying a lot of things that'll piss a lot of people off. But what you want me to come on here and be fake?
Nope.
I'm gonna tell my truth. I mean, you tell yours. Why the fuck can't I tell mine?
Well, the second Guardians of the Galaxy movie, it was just, to me, it fell flat. The first one was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we only have a little time. I'm gonna bring up the next thing here. Only American flags allowed at U.S. embassies under new Trump law. And I say, fuck yeah, good, great. I don't see an issue with this, do you?
No, that's the way it should be.
Now, we're only speaking of U.S. embassies. If you have your own this, that, or whatever, fly whatever the fuck flag you're gonna fly. But we're speaking U.S. embassies, you know? Why would you put anything else up? But I'm gonna go into the video here.
The Trump administration has introduced a new one flag policy requiring all State Department buildings to fly only the American flag. The new rule applies to U.S. State Department facilities, both in the country and those abroad, banning all other sort of flags from being flown on these government grounds. The latest order coming from Trump's Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, after he was confirmed Monday night, is a reversal from Biden's State Department, which saw controversy with multiple flag raisings, including this video posted on X in 2021, hanging a pride flag during Pride Month. Under Biden, the U.S. Embassy in Brazil also raised a Black Lives Matter flag in 2022 during Black History Month. These instances would be no more under Trump's orders, regardless of the issue or politics. As the policy says, the U.S. flag represents unity for all Americans and is intended to show respect for the American flag. The only exemptions, the prisoner of war missing an action emblem and the wrongful detainees flag, can still fly at State Department facilities, according to the memo. This policy applies only to State Department facilities, but there was a bill introduced to the Senate last year that would have applied the so-called one flag policy to all federal buildings. It's unclear whether the new Congress, with a GOP majority, will take up a similar measure. There has been some pushback from American civil rights organizations. The CEO of Lambda Legal telling Newsweek, banning pride and other flags is just petty and mean-spirited. Flying such flags is simply a signal to people that they matter. It hurts no one. The State Department's order, first obtained by the Washington Free Beacon, states, starting immediately, only the United States of America flag is authorized to be flown or displayed at U.S. facilities, both domestic and abroad, and featured in U.S. government content. The flag of the United States of America united all Americans under the universal principles of justice, liberty, and democracy. These values, which are the bedrock of our great country, are shared by all American citizens, past and present. This move is part of a broader and immediate shift by the Trump administration, calling for an end to all diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and practices within federal agencies. The One Flag policy also says that any State Department employees who violate the order could face disciplinary action, such as termination or reassignment. Thanks for watching our news.
Okay, but doesn't flying an American flag kind of say, you're all right and we care? I mean, they're like, oh, a gay flag doesn't hurt anyone, doesn't help anyone either.
I think the opposition is just picking at straws, you know. They're gonna say anything that Trump does is bad. That's what I think. It doesn't matter what he does.
I mean, do we have to espouse our beliefs everywhere with flags? Why? I mean, they're like, it doesn't hurt anyone. It kind of does when you have so many trannies going down with the white people, down with the straight people. Well, not just trannies, but you get my point. It kind of does when their pride is so fluffed up that they're on the attack.
I know this is off subject, but this woman here in this video, she's unhealthy. I mean, she needs to eat. They must have told her to get real skinny or something, because she needs to eat.
Okay, while we have a little time, I'm going to go straight into the next thing here.
A bipartisan group of lawmakers in Congress introduced a bill to move federal agencies out of D.C. The bill is called the Swamp Act, and the sponsors say it will save taxpayers money and provide them with better service. Congresswoman Ashley Hinson said in a statement, the bill will ensure that federal bureaucrats who have never left D.C. aren't issuing out-of-touch mandates that disproportionately harm working families, small businesses, and our farmers who feed and fuel the world. Hinson gave the example of the Department of Agriculture, which she said should operate in an agricultural state like Iowa, not the nation's capital. The legislation would apply to just about every department and agency within the federal government. There are 6 exceptions, including the Departments of Defense, State, Energy, and Homeland Security, the CIA, and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. To make sure the departments actually move, the bill prohibits new construction, new leases, or lease renewal. It also sets up a competitive bidding process for the new headquarters. Congressman Jared Golden said in a statement,
You're muted.
I just want to note a few things here. This is just a bill. It likely won't get passed. But with that being said, I could see why they want that done. It's a big exclusive club, and they have their picks. They have full power. And if it's moved across the country, that will break up a good amount of that and keep things fresh and more honest.
I see this as a good thing, because it puts the government more in touch with the people, you know?
Oh yeah, that too. I mean, it could potentially, it's not a guarantee that it would, but it could potentially do that very thing.
I mean, what is, for the Department of Agriculture, for example, what are they going to know about the farming communities if they never see them? You know?
You know, the
So
only people they talk with are millionaires. All their friends are at least wealthy. Everyone they know, everyone they communicate with is wealthy, at least wealthy.
yeah. So I
It's a
think
big club, and you're not part of it.
true. So I think this is a step in the right direction.
And redistributing federal agencies and jobs around the country would bring the government closer to the people, ensure regulators are embedded in the communities that thrive or struggle based on their rulings, and bring good paying jobs out of the Beltway and into communities across the country. Golden said no one knows better than fishermen what it takes to make a living on the water, and added they also better understand what regulations can do to an industry and region. Approximately 141,000 federal employees work in the District of Columbia, and many more are in the D.C. metro area. The lawmakers did not address whether these employees would be required to move or leave their jobs, or if they decided to remain, how they would be relocated. I'm Ray Bogan for Straight Arrow News. For more reporting, download the SAN app.
Now, this is just a bill, and it's not likely, I'd say not very likely at all to pass, but I sure wish it would. It would shake things up in a good way.
I wonder whose idea this was.
Yeah, the video did not mention that. A bipartisan group of lawmakers. So, going by that, it was some on both sides. It doesn't mention specifically who, but I sure wish they would. I think that would benefit us all.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's all the time we have for tonight's show.
Well, thank you for watching, everybody. It was good to have you all here, and we hope you have a good night.
Yeah, thanks to everybody that came, everyone that had something to say. And I've been bitching and complaining and saying shit, like I said, digging a hole for myself. But if I can't be honest, then what the fuck can I be? Because that's the only thing I'm gonna be. After all, I am noise pollution. And until next time, all of you, and of course me as well, are gonna keep bringing the noise. Later.
Your feelings can fuck off, you non-binary bitch. Telling everyone we're wrong while you sexualize kids. Keep your pronouns in your pants, this ain't the time or place. Unless you think you can dance, I'll punch that confused face. My pronoun is pimp. The heavens proclaim.